Hello, friend. This video is accompanying my blog post. So if you prefer to read, just click the link and go read the blog post. I'm essentially just going through the blog post that I wrote and adding a little more context when I feel like it might be necessary. So if you landed on this video about finding and connecting with your Starseed family, you have probably had some of those wait, I feel like I don't belong here moments. That's kind of where most people start whenever they start looking into their star seed families. And I do want to give a little disclaimer because I've talked to a lot of people in person lately that are very intrigued about galactic beings. However, um, and that's great. However, I am not a sci-fi geek. Nothing wrong with being a sci-fi geek, but if you come to me and you start talking about sci-fi, I'm not going to have any clue what you're saying. Whenever I first started getting messages from my Starseed family and my guides, and when I first started even doing my automatic writing and channeling messages, I was at a point in my life where didn't even know that aliens and galactic beings were real. If you had asked me like a year ago, hey Sadie, do you want to know who your alien family is? I would have been like, that sounds like one of those quizzes from the teen magazines from the early 2000s that I grew up with. No, I've never watched Star Trek or X-Files or anything. So when I start talking about galactic beings and aliens and all of that, it is not in a sci-fi way. It is in a soul connection kind of way. Again, nothing wrong with being a sci-fi geek. I love it for you. It's just that's not where my connection comes from. So some of the stuff I say, if you are into sci-fi, it might not resonate as well as somebody who is into sci-fi and you can talk with them. With that being said, I would love for you to stick around so we could talk about finding your starseed family, knowing who they are, and that kind of thing. So we're going to start with explaining starseed families in plain English. So a starseed family is a category of shared energetic traits. So think of it as like a soul level last name. So a starseed origin is the story that you connect to the most. So if you read about Arcturians or Syrians or Pleiadians and you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds like me, that might be one of your star seed families, your star seed origin, okay? Now, a soul mission, you're going to hear me talking about that. This is the kind of healing or change that you're here on Earth at this time that you are drawn to create or help with. And an awakening is when you start noticing patterns, intuition, or purpose that is a lot louder than usual. So I just want to mention all of those things before we get started, just in case you're brand new. Now, if you've ever felt any of these things that I'm about to describe, I just want you to know that you are not alone. There are a lot of people that feel homesick for a place that they cannot name, and that is one sign that you are a starseed. That's actually the first thing that I kept seeing whenever I started looking into starseeds. You feel homesick for a place that you can't name, or you're just like always trying to move somewhere new, like, oh, maybe this is it. Maybe this will be my home. Maybe I'll have that feeling now. And I've never had the feeling of home. I had a feeling of connection and family when I was in Mexico, but I've lived places for 10 years or more and still didn't feel like it was home. So that is definitely one of the signs that you could be a starseed. Another is if you pick up people's moods a lot. So you're very intuitive, empathic. You feel like your nervous system's got like this Wi-Fi signal and you're just taking it all in. Also, you've had a big purpose feeling since you were young. I've always felt like there is something huge that I'm supposed to be a part of. And I didn't realize that not everybody feels that way. Not everybody has this huge purpose from birth that they feel like they're supposed to be a part of. So have you felt like that? And this one was difficult for me to kind of relate to because it says you struggle with being seen, but you also hate playing small. So like I didn't mind when I wasn't seen, but I want to do big things, which requires visibility, right? So on one hand, you're like, do you see me? Hi, I'm not a complete weirdo. And then on the other hand, you're like, well, I don't want to be like this bright peacock necessarily. Some do, and that's okay. But I don't want to be this bright peacock. I just want to make sure that I'm helping, humanity move forward in the right direction. Now, whenever you're exploring your starseed family, your origins, your soul purpose, all of that, just remember that this is a lifelong journey. This is not something where you're going to wake up and know everything, because you will explore for decades and still not know everything, right? We are a tiny, tiny, tiny little speck of like a speck of dust. That's how tiny we are, right? So if you are ever exploring and things start to feel negative or bad, or you start to feel anxious about it, then you want to step away for a little bit and then maybe come back and journal and work on some grounding and some meditation. Okay. Now, what does a starseed soul purpose look like here on Earth in this timeline? So your starseed purpose probably shows up on a regular basis. So you're not necessarily going to see it only in a spiritual way. You're going to see it kind of like in an everyday way. So you might be the friend that just like really calms people down. Everyone knows you can calm people down. You might be the coworker that fixes the broken printer all the time. Like they know that you're the tech person. Or you might be the mom that is breaking the old habits, the generational curses and trauma that you have been through. But you're actively working on those, right? So you could be a healer, a teacher, a builder, an artist, someone who's just really in the community and weaving it together and helping everyone join together, because the same purpose can show up in different outfits. So if you are a healer, for example, you could be a therapist, you could be a nurse, you could even be a teacher and be a healer. You could be a hairstylist, or you could just be that person that makes dinner for everybody and they know that they can come and sit and enjoy. So purpose is less about like your job title and like being in this really strict cornered box, and more about the effect that you have on people and on the spaces that you are a part of. Now, real quick, before we go on, I just want to remind you to treat all of this like a self-discovery mission, not a test that you have to check off every box and that you pass or you fail. I want you to consume the info. So like what I'm teaching, what others are teaching, journal what resonates, journal it out, think about how it resonates for you, and then skip what doesn't. If anybody, including me, says something and you're like, no, that doesn't resonate, that doesn't feel good, it's okay to leave it. Knowledge is like this big buffet, an unlimited buffet. And you go up and you pick what you want and you leave the rest. And so if you're feeling scattered, overwhelmed, anxious, just go simple. Take a walk. Organize your desk if that makes you happy. Do one kind thing for yourself. Go look in the mirror and say one kind thing to yourself. Because curiosity is amazing and it's great, but you have to have that stability in order to keep the curiosity useful and you moving forward. So if you're scared or you're anxious or feeling out of control, then you want to make sure that you are grounding and staying in charge of your body, yourself, and your mind. To identify your starseed family, we're going to talk about 5 things. So number 1, your strengths. What comes naturally? Number 2, your triggers. What flips your nervous system faster than anything else? Number 3, your values. So these are things that you are not compromising on. It's your line in the sand, right? Your number 4 is your dream themes. So what are you seeing in your dreams? What are you feeling in your dreams? Where are you going in your dreams? And number 5 is your pain to purpose link. So what suffering are you here to help reduce? So you're going to use intuition whenever you're asking these questions and that kind of thing. We're going to do a writing exercise in just a moment that you can see in the blog post as well. But whenever we're using our intuition, we're also keeping it practical. So if there is a label that comes up, a word, a descriptor, a phrase that makes you feel good, then write it down, use it. It's probably a good fit. One of the things that happened to me recently was we were at an in-person meetup, and we were going around the circle. Everybody was introducing themselves, and a lot of them were like eclectic witches, and they had different names for it. Somebody said that they were a hodgepodge witch, and somebody said they were a potluck witch, and it was just really cool, and I loved all of it. And then by the time I got to me, none of that resonated. Like I was not matching up with anybody, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm gonna say. So I didn't even think about it. I just let whatever came out, like come out. And I was like, hi, I'm Sadie Smiley. I'm a galactic witch. And I was just like, where did that come from? I've never called myself that before, but it fit and it felt perfect. And I love saying it now. And now I even have like a little license plate cover that says the Galactic Witch. Like that fits me so well. Like, yes, I'm witchy. I love tarot. I love the pendulum, all the things. But most of all, like my top most exciting thing I love to do is work with my galactic friends, right? So the Galactic Witch seemed perfect. So that's what I mean. If something comes up and you're like, oh my gosh, that's me. And if I said Galactic Witch and you were like, oh my gosh, that's me. I'm not trademarking the Galactic Witch, y'all. It's just a type of witch. There's kitchen witches, there's green witches, you know, all of that, right? So if you feel like you resonate with the Galactic Witch label, feel free to take it. Now we're going to do a quick self-scan of our traits, triggers, and themes. So I am going to ask you these questions. However, you can always just read it on the blog post or pause after each question and write it out. Like it's totally up to you how you do it, okay? But I am going to ask these questions, and what I would like for you to do is write the answers. So I ask the question, you pause the video, you write, you can set a timer for a couple minutes for each one, and then you come back, press play, and I'll ask you the next question, okay? So this is kind of like automatic writing. If you haven't watched my automatic writing videos, definitely do that. That will help you kind of clear your head and be able to do this really well. So the first question that you want to ask yourself is, what do people consistently come to you for? Now go ahead and press pause and write that out. Number 2, what injustice makes your blood boil even when you try to chill? Press pause. Number 3, what do you do when you feel safest and most like yourself? Press pause. What kind of environment drains you the fastest? Noise, conflict, chaos, boredom? Go ahead and press pause and write that out. Next, what kind of environment charges you up? Beauty, structure, nature, brainstorming with others? Go ahead and press pause. When you're stressed, what is your default move? Is it to fix everything? Is it to run? Is it to freeze? Is it to people please? Press pause. It's okay. That one might take a little while to journal out. I'll be here. And last, what problem do you keep trying to solve no matter where you go? Do you feel like there's a recurring theme that comes up and you have to solve this problem or work through it over and over and over again? Maybe a lesson that you've had to learn over and over in your life. Go ahead and press pause and journal that one out. And now, when you're done, I want you to go through and I want you to circle any of the repeated words, any of the repeated themes or emotions or phrases, because these repeats are kind of like breadcrumbs, like Hansel and Gretel. We're gonna Hansel and Gretel, Hansel and Gretel. I don't know the name. It's the little kids in the woods. There are breadcrumbs, and that's going to help us figure things out. So go ahead and press pause and circle all of those repeated words or phrases or emotions you saw coming up. Now, I hope you were able to find some common themes throughout the answers, but I'm going to give you a quick rundown of an overview of a few of the different Starseed families. So Pleiadians are heart-led helpers who teach love with boundaries. So their core vibe is warm, relationship-focused, comfort and beauty energy. I met someone last year that was a Pleiadian, and she embodied all of the Pleiadian characters and traits that I have learned about. She also, as far as the strengths go, she was also very empathetic. If you are a Pleiadian, you can often help with emotional repair. restoring harmony and making spaces feel safe. And this person definitely had that vibe going for them. Now, there's always a shadow side of things. So if you are a Pleiadian, you want to look out for people pleasing, uh, working too hard to avoid conflict rather than working through the conflict, or over giving, or just handling everything. Like, don't worry about it, I'll handle it. No, let other people help you so you guys can work together, and all that work isn't on you. And your sole purpose on Earth is, and I mean soul, S-O-U-L, not S-O-L-E. We have multiple purposes. Help people feel loved, and then teach them how to love themselves without collapsing into everyone else's needs. So without giving into all of that overgiving and people pleasing and stuff like that. So if you have a Pleiadian star family, then you might relate to being like the therapist friend. You might be emotional. You might cry whenever other people are telling their stories. Or maybe you can even like feel their emotions before they speak. So your growth edge here, and this is something I talk about in the blog post, but your growth edge as a Pleiadian is no is a full sentence. No is a complete sentence. Okay. Say no sooner, and realize that saying no is you being kind to yourself and to others. Because if you do something when you don't want to do it, that's not very kind to the other people anyway, right? The next starseed family are from Sirius. They are Syrians, and they are loyal protectors and spiritual builders who love structure. So their core vibe is devotion, sacred duty, strong spine energy, and are often linked with water symbolism. Their strengths include discipline, loyalty, training and teaching others, and building ethical systems. Now, if you are a Syrian, you have to watch out for the shadow patterns of being too rigid, being too much in the box, also judging yourself too harshly. And you can also run into the problem of feeling responsible for everyone, and you have all of that weight on your shoulders. Your soul's purpose on Earth is to protect what is good, create structure that helps people thrive, and model integrity that does not bend under pressure. And you might relate to being a Syrian starseed if routines are calming for you, if you love the 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m., you know exactly what's going on. You're very good at keeping your promises. If you make a promise, by golly, you are going to keep it. You might also relate if you get stressed out whenever the rules feel unfair. So a grounding practice that you can do is a daily water reset. So this can be like a shower while you're doing your intentions, like you're washing all of the gunk away, energetically and spiritually as well. Or taking a walk near water, so a river or a lake or the ocean, that will really help you ground and recharge. Next are the Arcturians, which are the galactic beings I think I've spoken about the most. Arcturians are the first galactic beings that I connected with. They helped me with a lot of stuff. I really probably should make a video because, oh my gosh. But Arcturians, they're my buddies. They are techie mystics and pattern seers who upgrade systems. So their core vibe is like big brain, big intuition, pattern recognition. Like they see a problem and they're like, how can we fix this? How can we improve this? Their strengths include innovation, strategy, energy work, teaching, and system design. And then if you are an Arcturian, the shadow patterns you have to look out for are overthinking, being in your head too much, and emotionally distancing yourself whenever you're feeling overwhelmed. Your soul's purpose here on Earth in this timeline is to help translate complex ideas into tools, methods, and systems that help real people in business, education, wellness, community work. I know someone who must be an Arcturian just because of everything that I've learned about our Arcturian buddies. I'm like, you're definitely an Arcturian, but fun fact, you probably shouldn't just go around telling people that you know that they're an Arcturian because they're going to think you're a little crazy. Next are the Lyrens. They are bold creators and leaders who start things from scratch. I have looked this up. I have heard Lyren and I've heard Lyren. So if you've heard those, it's the same thing. It's Lyran, which you'll also see in the blog post. If you are connected to the Lyren Starseed family, your core vibe is pioneer energy. You have this creative fire and independence, and you're like, I've got this. I will go first, and you will lead the way. You have strengths of originality, leadership. You are probably artistic, courageous, and you're really good at starting movements and projects. We will follow you. But you do have to watch out for your shadow patterns of restlessness, getting bored very easily and switching, to other things. Your pride, uh, going into like lone wolf mode, like because you can handle everything, then other people don't get to help out. Or like I said, like getting bored, especially like once you set something up, okay, cool, I'm gone. Your soul's purpose on earth is to create bravely, lead with your heart, and show others how to express themselves without having to ask for permission. That is what you're here to show people. You might relate to this if you've reinvented yourself, if you hate being boxed in, or if you're allergic to hearing because that's how it works, or because that's how it's done, or that's what I said, because I said so, right? But you need to let people support you before you are just like 100% self-reliant. I don't need anybody, because being strong does not mean that you have to be alone. The next starseed family are the Andromedans, and this is the last one I'm going to talk about in this video for this section, but I want you to know that there are tons of different families that you can look into whenever you start looking into your galactic origins, okay? These are just the ones that I've learned the most about. Andromedans are freedom lovers and truth tellers. The core vibe is freedom, big picture thinking, honesty, and like, do not try to put me in a box. Andromedans actually, they are also one of the first galactic families I connected with. I can't remember. I know that I went and I wrote all of this down. I know that the Arcturians helped me a lot, but I think whenever I got my starseed families identified from different guides, I went to different psychics and talked to them. They said that I was definitely Andromedan and Arcturian. And then I just ended up working with the Arcturians. And I've read about Andromedans, but I have not yet felt their presence as far as I know. However, I did speak with a guide a couple weeks ago, and she told me that I have so many guides, they're kind of like in line. And so right now I'm working with the Arcturians, but I have others that are lining up to work with me. So who knows? By the time you watch this video, I might be working with the Andromedans or someone else. Now, the strengths. If you are an Andromedan starseed, truth-telling. You do not like lies or liars. Liberation work, innovation, and helping others reclaim their choice. But you do have to watch out for the shadow patterns of being afraid of commitment, running when things get hard, and resisting healthy structure. Your soul's purpose on earth is to help break control patterns, speak your truth, and help people step out of fear-based obedience and into conscious choice. You might relate to being an Andromedan if you've always hated manipulation, lies. You need space to breathe, and you cannot pretend when something's off. Like, people will look at you and they will know. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is how to connect with your starseed family safely and turn your purpose into your real life. So, despite what some people who want to charge you thousands of dollars might say, you do not need special gear, expensive sessions, or a crystal the size of a toaster to connect to your galactic family. Okay? The safe path that you have in front of you, it is steady, it is consent-based, so you set the tone, you set the pace, and you can stop at any time. Now, you can use meditation, dream work, journaling, music that puts you in kind of a relaxed trance state. Symbols you keep noticing, make sure you're always writing things down. Everything that you notice, please write it down, because even if it doesn't make sense now, it will probably make sense later. Spending time in nature can really help you connect with your galactic families. And completing acts of service that match your values. So if you're volunteering in a soup kitchen, or you're, whatever it is that you're doing, but acts of service that match up with your values. Now, if you are doing your energy practices, remember, you can always create a protective bubble. Most light workers that I've seen describe it as like this crystalline light that is just kind of like a whole aura around you. I picture it more like a bubble, like Glinda from Wicked has the big bubble. That's kind of how I picture it. I picture that I'm in this bubble, so it's not just the light that's in the bubble. It's like this extra layer of the bubble protecting me. I have no idea, but I'm a Wicked fan, so it fits. So just whatever works for you. Imagine a protective bubble, a light, whatever, and then ask that only supportive connections for your highest good come through. You don't want anything weird coming through, right? And then once you're finished with your session of your meditation or your journaling or whatever, then you want to make sure that you end your session, that kind of thing. There are some other blog posts and videos that I'm working on that can help you with the actual logistics of that, just so I don't get too distracted telling you about them now. So a simple weekly rhythm that can help you stay consistent is to do a few short connection sessions every week. So 10 to 20 minutes a few times a week. And then one like purpose in action choice. So once you're realizing what your soul's purpose is, go take action on that. And then always work on grounding activities. Y'all, I've told you this in my Explore Your Woo group, but if you have not heard my story, I have never really done anything like grounding, meditation, etc. I've done a little meditation here and there because I used to make videos about it, but it wasn't ever a daily practice for me. And grounding, what's that? That's how I was a few months ago. Whenever I started getting all of these messages and taking these classes to hone in my psychic abilities and all of this, I actually got to the point where I felt like I was floating out of my body. It was the wildest experience, and it lasted for weeks, like several weeks, more than a month, several weeks. And I think like 2 weeks in, I remember taking classes back to back, and I was just like on this huge high, again, floating, but it was bad. Like, it was not a good thing anymore. I tried to go to bed and I got vertigo. The room was spinning. I ended up throwing up. Like, it was not good. And the message I got from that was, you need to work on grounding. So make sure that you are, walking, doing some meditative walking, or doing some yoga, some slow movement, or whatever it is that grounds you. It could be cooking, it could be cleaning, it could be, what have you. It could be painting. But make sure you do at least one grounding activity every day while you're working on this, okay? So I'm going to give you some instructions for a connection practice. Again, I'll make other videos on this, so this is very simple, but I want you to sit somewhere comfortable and put your hands, either both of them on your heart, or one on your heart and one on your belly. You're going to slowly close your eyes and breathe in and out for 1 minute. You're going to tell your nervous system, I've got you. You're safe. And you're going to set an intention in plain words like, I am open to gentle clarity about my Starseed family, only in ways that support my well-being. And then you're going to ask one question. What quality am I meant to embody right now? Or whatever question comes up. If you have not yet identified your Starseed family, who are my Starseed families? Where are my galactic origins from? Who are my guides? Those are all simple questions that you can write down. And then I want you to do automatic writing. Watch my other videos about those if you don't know how to do that yet. But do it for at least 5 minutes, and don't judge what comes through. Just write. No judgment, no editing, nothing. You may notice that your writing looks different, and you say things that you would never say when you're doing automatic writing. I have a whole journal of stuff that I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I would never say that. I could never come up with that, but I did from automatic writing. And then once you're ready to close the session, you just want to thank your mind and your body and your guides, and then go do something physical. So drink water, stretch, wash your hands, something like that. Now, if you feel overwhelmed at any point, you just stop and return to your senses, return to your body. name 5 things you can see. You could do 5 things you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding thing, right? And just to bring you back to your body and to your full consciousness. Now, you know how to make that simple connection. You know a little bit of history about different starseed families. If you're anything like me, you're going to figure out where you came from, who your families are, and then you're going to go down the rabbit hole. I would love for you to email me, sadie@sadiesmiley.com, if you don't know, and tell me your experiences. I am just like soaking everything up, and I've gotten so many emails, and they're so cool. And I don't really have a lot of people that I can talk to about galactic families and beings and aliens and all the things. So please, please, please email me. We can be BFFs and talk about the aliens together all day. But I hope more than anything that this helped you get through this blog post and understand it a little bit better if you were struggling, and gave you another, way to consume this information so you can maybe take notes while I was talking, that kind of thing. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Thank you so much.